Everyone, welcome back to the Lonely Homestead. Got some projects going here. This is the local and the mouse didn't get all the pea seeds, so I got a few peas that came up already, which is a good cold weather crop. And same with broccoli. There's broccoli coming up all over. There's another pea seed in there. It is. I don't know how it got over there, but we have mice in here, gophers in here. That's a gopher trap under there. That's a fake snake that scared the tar out of me. We got more broccoli over here. And those look just like weed seeds. And that's probably weed seeds too. But one could be a melon. There's melon under these cages. And I put the cages on there to hopefully keep the mice from stealing the seeds. But a lot of weird things going on in here. So I snapped a trap right there. Or I snapped a mouse. And the next morning, something tore the mouse apart and ate it. So, I don't know what that was. But, up there, by the motorhome, I got that little bed. And I had peppers coming up and some other things coming up, even though it was 39 last night. I got 2 mice in there, and I had 3 traps set, and something snapped the other trap and got away with it. So I don't know where it went. I can't find it, and I don't know, maybe a big pack rat or something got snapped in it, and he's plenty big enough to walk away with a mouse trap. So not sure, but here's a fun new project You can see the property around here. Sorry about the wind and sorry about the filming. I just broke my last tripod. But over here, I'm starting compost piles. So, got my greens down, and that's just mustard seed. And I got plenty of browns around here. I mean, you can just see this dead bark is going to be a brown under these manzanita trees. They drop leaves, so that's brown. And the biggest product I have is pine needles, tons of them. And if you look, they'll take 10 to 20 years to break down if you just leave them. Hence the chipper shredder. So I'm going to shred them up and use them as brown. I already tried the chipper right here next to the pile to just throw it on the pile, and it's not doing a very good job. I was using those to block it from flying out. But, so I went and got the bag. I'm going to try it with the bag on there, and then that way I'll have most of my browns will end up right on there. And there's plenty of product around here. I mean, you can see all the wood chipping I've done already. Well, now that other bay is gonna be just full of wood chips. And if you look around, you'll see all the dead wood everywhere, even on these are redshank trees, and they got dead wood all over them. So that's got to go. And then on top of that, this is another manzanita. There's all this. And all this is all over the property. So I got wood chips for life, basically. All the wood chips I want. And pine needles. There's pine needles everywhere. The front of the property, way over there, has huge pines like the yard, but they've never been cleaned up. So there's like a 6-inch thick mat of pine needles up there, which would be really good. Yeah. Oh, look at this yucca's blooming. It's gonna bloom and it's gonna die. I think that's what they're called, a yucca? I can't remember. Yucca, they bloom once every 7 years and then they die. Somebody leave it in the comments if I'm getting it wrong. I can't remember. Here's the herd. Leave Junior alone. Lucy, get out of there. Junior, go take a nap. You can't even see anyways. Yeah. So, there's so much stuff around here that's good for the garden. All this making my own compost is going to be easy. I mean, just tons. I can go into business probably. There's so much stuff. So like greens, you can see I'm a little low on greens, but next season after, you know, all the tomatoes are dead, this, that, and the other, I just compost them. So that's going to be another compost source. And then you can see I got plenty of mustard weed, and all this was covered in mustard too, and I've chopped a lot of it out, but it's still done well, and it's all looking good. So I need greens. I got greens right here, and I'll just come and obviously throw those in as my nitrogen for right now. Looks like a new gopher. That looks like new gopher holes. I gotta teach Lucy how to dig up gophers and eat them. But you can see, if you get under this manzanita tree, this stuff's been sitting here forever. And it's slowly breaking down. But, I mean, look at how thick that is. We haven't even hit soil there. We just hit soil right there. And it's getting darker and richer. But if this all broke down faster, you could throw it under the trees and even help the trees out even more. But even better than under the manzanita trees, I would say, is under these red shanks. These real thin, I don't know if you call them leaves or whatever, but you can see how thin they are, and they break down pretty quick. And this one gets a lot of sun, so it might not be as good. But if you get under here and dig this up, look at that. I mean, it breaks down faster for sure, but it's turning into soil. And the soil up here is just high desert. Oh, sorry about the shadow. But, I mean, look at that. That's just the topsoil. So, it's slowly making the soil under the trees real good. But nowhere else, of course. You know, we got a few wide open spaces that could definitely use some help. But, of course, the garden always needs help. And I'll do a garden video real soon, because I got things that are sprouting and coming up, and I even had corn come up, and it was 39 last night. I bought a special variety of corn that comes up in the cold. They say plant like a week before your last frost date. So I probably could have planted it a while ago and it would have been fine. But yeah, I even had some cucumbers come up. I did some tomatoes inside the bus, and they didn't come up well, but I got like 15 right now. And I got a few outside that have come up. I think I got lettuce coming up, all kinds of things. So garden's going pretty good. The lower garden is where a lot of work is taking place. And let me get the dog. Lucy, get over here. Don't go wandering off. And okay, so yeah, so I've done a lot of work in the lower garden because it's the only fenced area, and it needs some repair. But the beds were just, they haven't been watered, even though we had so much water this year in rain and snow. The beds are just not retaining water. It took me, like a 4x8 bed took me 2 hours to get it hydrated to where you could plant seeds in it, and that's not a good thing. That needs compost, needs more organic matter. And so I got the stuff here. I mean, that's what we're gonna do. So if you don't know how to make compost, it's pretty easy. You got your greens, and put them in there kind of nice and fluffy, and water them. And you don't want it soaking wet. You just want it kind of like a damp sponge where a few drips come out. And then you do your browns, which are leaves and cardboard and pine needles. And people say, oh, you can't use pine needles, they're too acidic. Baloney. You can use pine needles. After they're dead, they lose their acidity real quick. So same with pine wood. So if you're, people say, I don't want pine wood chips in my garden areas, they're too acidic. Baloney. As soon as the tree's dead, it's gonna be fine. And if you think it's gonna be bad, then just let it sit longer. Let it break down in your compost piles longer, and then it'll be fine. So there's nothing to it. Just keep doing layers of green, and I got some eggshells and bananas and coffee and cardboard in that bag. And then you do your brown. So cardboard's a brown, eggshells, and Lucy, get out of there. Stop eating weeds. And eggshells and bananas, stuff like that. It's just gonna add different stuff to your compost pile. So eggshells is potassium, or bananas potassium, eggshells is calcium, and so that's gonna be in your compost. What happened, Lucy? Skip, what are you doing? Get out of here. Poor girl. Go away, Skip. So this is how you build it. And a good compost pile, stop, Lucy, is 3 feet wide, 3 feet long, and 3 feet high. And then just let it break down. It's probably going to go down about a third. And make sure it stays moist, but not over moist. And then you turn it. You start turning it. And you can turn it every day if you want. You can turn it every 2 days. But then also, if you have a nice compost thermometer and you get it to heat up, you can get your pile up to about 140 to 160, and that will heat up enough to kill off any weed seeds that you may have got in there, and any other seeds. So that's what you want it to do. You want it to get hot, and you want it to cook those seeds out. Skip, leave her alone. Stop playing with her. She just wants to have fun. You guys are tyrants. I'm going to go lock you up so I can get some work done. But as you can see, I got a long way to go to get 3 feet high, and I got to shred all this up and probably some more from over there. And then I'm going to start on wood chips after this pile's done. And we got some compost going, so it'd probably be next season before I can even use it, but oh well. It's better to start now And then once I'm pulling the garden down, you know, for spring and summer crops, then throw all those in a new compost pile. I'm going to build compost piles like this all over the place. And as you can see, it's just old pallets. I mean, there's a bunch of old pallets laying around here, so I might as well use what I got. That's my motto pretty much, is use what you got. So all this around here is what I got, and that's what I'm going to use, and that's how I do my gardens and build my soil. So until the next one, it's hopefully going to be a garden video. Till the next one, God bless and adios.